In my last community post, I mentioned that my next tutorial would show how to use DLSS Enabler 4.0.0.11 to unlock multi-frame generation, and I asked which game I should cover. Since you selected Alan Wake 2, so today I'll be showing you how to unlock multi-frame generation and how to use new feature of dynamic frame generation on latest version of DLSS Enabler. Previously, I uploaded a tutorial showing how to unlock multi-frame generation in Cyberpunk 2077 with DLSS Enabler 4.0.0.9. If you'd like to watch that video, click the label in the top left corner and give it a look. Now let's get straight to today's video. The DLSS Enabler modding community has released version 4.0.0.11, which now allows us to use a method called dynamic frame generation. I'll explain the differences simply. Previously, with the MFG setting we used, we would pick a multiplier we liked and play the game with that fixed multiplier. That approach didn't let us change how many base frames the generator should work from on the fly. With dynamic frame generation, we can set it up so the mod automatically determines what FPS corresponds to 2x, 3x, or 4x multipliers. Another convenience is that when dynamic frame generation is enabled, it will automatically suggest which multiplier to use based on our base frame rate. Okay, I'll show this with a comparison. In the first footage, showing my native performance, you can see my FPS is in the 55 and 60 range, with latency around 55 milliseconds. In the second footage, I used a 2x multiplier for frame generation, which I adjusted manually. This gave me about 110 range of FPS, with latency in the 59 milliseconds range. In the third footage, I enabled dynamic frame generation, where the AI analyzed the strongest base FPS and automatically decided which multiplier to use. You can clearly see the difference when dynamic frame generation is active. You can also see that the latency in milliseconds is higher for 2x and dynamic frame generation compared with native performance. This is the usual trade-off with frame generation method, but despite that, the game becomes noticeably smoother and the overall experience is easier on the eyes. That's the simple idea behind dynamic frame generation and multiplier frame generation. Now let's see how to download the DLSS Enabler mod. Search Google for DLSS Enabler. First, choose the Nexus Mods website. I'll put the link in the pinned comment for your convenience. Note that to download anything from Nexus Mods, you must create a free account. So first register a free account and then return to the DLSS Enabler page. There you can see the new features added in 4.0.0.11, including the dynamic frame generation I explained and other new features. One useful addition is the GhostBuster setting. If you notice ghosting artifacts when using frame generation in a particular game, the GhostBuster setting can reduce or fix those issues. Keep in mind that fixes may behave differently from game to game, so remember that. Now, download the file. Click the manual download button for DLSS Enabler 4.0.0.11, then use the slow download option if needed to get the file. After downloading, open the zip using 7-zip or WinRAR. Go to your Alan Wake 2 installation folder and find alanwake2.exe located folder. From the DLSS Enabler zip, extract the file named version.dll into that game folder. After extracting, launch the game. If you see a label appear at startup, the mod file is installed correctly. Next, open the graphics options. You'll notice the DLSS frame generation setting is now available. Turn that setting on and then enter gameplay. While in gameplay, press the tilde key on your keyboard to open the DLSS Enabler mod menu. The DLSS Enabler mod menu will pop up. Navigate to the dynamic frame generation setting. There's a small caveat, both dynamic frame generation and the MFG settings are hidden by default, which means you must have Streamline SDK 2.7.0 or newer to unlock them. If you run into this issue, I'll show you how to fix it. Close the game briefly and search Google for DLSS Streamline SDK 2.1. I'll include the link for your convenience. Go to the GitHub page and download the latest SDK releases in the Assets tab. After downloading, extract the Streamline SDK zip into your Alan Wake 2 game folder. The zip contains many files. Here's what to do. Open the bin folder, then go into x64. Extract every .dll file from there into your alanwake2.exe located folder. For safety, create a new folder named original.dll and copy your game's original.dll files into it before replacing anything. That way, if something goes wrong when launching the game, you can restore the originals. After backing up, extract and replace the DLLs from the SDK zip into the game folder. Now launch the game again. Enter gameplay and press the tilde key to open the DLSS enabler mod menu. You should now see dynamic frame generation and the MFG settings unlocked. With dynamic frame generation enabled, you can change the target FPS for each multiplier. For example, I set my thresholds like this: 2x multiplier for below 60 FPS, 3x multiplier for below 50 FPS, and 4x multiplier for below 30 FPS. You can adjust these values to your preference. I personally often use the 3x multiplier suggestion because my GPU is not the strongest, and I also use high settings, but the gameplay smoothness improves noticeably. Latency does increase a bit, but for my playstyle that trade-off is acceptable. Not everyone will want that, and that's fine. You can reduce latency by optimizing graphics settings and increasing your base FPS with an upscaler, then use 2x multiplier only when needed to keep the experience smooth. That way, you can get a good gameplay experience. So that's how, using DLSS Enabler 4.0.0.11 and dynamic frame generation, you can improve smoothness and get more fluid frames in your game. I hope what I explained in today's video is clear. Thanks for watching and following along. If anything was unclear, leave a comment and I'll clarify it. If you found this helpful, like and subscribe for more tutorials. See you in the next video.